So tell me about the car club, Andrew, and what you've achieved over the last 14 years.
Well, when we first started out, there were four of us. We had no money, we had no car, we just had this idea of having a community car club, and basically we've grown over the last 14 years so that we've actually had 100 people join the car club. Currently we have 27 members and 2 cars. But when we first started out, we were loaned a car, and as it happened, as our numbers grew, other cars showed up for us. So we were loaned a total of 3 cars before we actually bought our own. And ever since then, we've been able to afford to replace cars by purchasing ourselves. And our latest achievement has been we've leased an electric vehicle, and that's the first time we had any funding. We got some funding to help with that from a local community energy group. So, Barbara, so you've been involved with the car club since the beginning, and we're now in our 14th year. So just would like to know what you feel the benefits of being a member of the car club, especially somebody who doesn't have their own car either.
The main benefit is it costs a great deal less. You don't have to worry about paying for emissions tax, insurance, maintenance, any of those extra costs that people kind of take for granted in a way, and don't worry about, and then think that all they're paying for with their car is their petrol. What I know about all the cars in this, ever since we've had, we must have had 4, I don't know how many we've had, Andrew can comment on that one. They are the best main cars in Llanidloes, if not in Wales, if not in the UK, and they are reliable, and you know what you're spending each month. If you know what your mileage is, you know how much you're spending. That can be a minor disadvantage when you're thinking about long journeys, because obviously you're paying out more, but overall the cost is a great deal less than owning your own car, and you don't have to worry that it might break down, or you need to sell it on, or you buy a lemon, as we did once. So a lot of advantages there as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, and how has it changed how you use a car, if at all?
Okay, I use the car much less because I have to cycle downtown to pick it up in all weathers, and there have been days, I have to admit, where I'm cycling down in rain, fully clothed in wet weather gear, and I curse the fact that I don't have a car sitting outside. But I think it's a very small price to pay for the convenience of having a car completely looked after you by someone else and paid for out of your mileage, rather than having the shock element of an unexpected bill.
Okay, off you go. So Kath, you've recently joined the car club, and perhaps you'd like to share with us your reasons for joining and how's it going?
Okay, the prime reason was because my husband has recently agreed to go out of retirement and go back to the NHS because of the COVID. And so he's going to be using the car at least 4 days a week going over to Aberystwyth, which, because then I have an elderly mother living about 60 miles away, it would be difficult to visit her. So it was ideal to be able to get access to a second car periodically.
So without actually having to buy another one, basically?
Yeah, absolutely.
What have you learned from setting up and running a car club?
I think the main thing that I've learnt is that being a member of a car club teaches you how to use a car less, and from our own personal experience, before we got rid of our car and joined the car club, me and my wife were doing about 21,000 miles a year between us, and after 1 year in the car club we only did 7,000 miles, which was quite a striking contrast. And since then, our mileage has not did not shoot up a lot. It stayed fairly constant And I've also noticed that in other people, that when they join the car club, to begin with, you see them using it probably quite a lot, and then over a period of time, you notice that people use it less because they learn how to, perhaps use public transport, maybe to share journeys with other people, or even just simply to combine errands so they do them all in one journey. And I think that's a really key point. Also, what I've realised is that people tend to join the car club when there's a change in their circumstances. So, their car breaks down, or maybe they change jobs and no longer need a car for work, or maybe they find themselves, especially these days, working from home much more. So they just want to know they have access to a car, but realise they don't actually need to own a car.